So much going on around about what is true and what isn't. Are they separated? Are they not separated? Harry is in the United States. Harry's not in the United States. Meghan Markle and Harry filed for divorce. Meghan Markle and Harry have not filed for divorce. So, but now we're going to put out some information for us to decide whether or not actually they are separated. It is my very humble opinion that they are, but I don't know. I'm going to put out some stuff for you to see, and you tell me whether or not the signs have always been there. The signs have always been there. And I think that we can all agree that given how this marriage came about, something is not quite right. If you know what I mean? So we're going to get into a lot of this right now because it's very, very interesting. And you tell me in the comments whether they are divorced, separated, or is this just a ploy to take away from the King's very successful Australian tour? 'Cause I believe that the tour was successful. That is just my humble opinion. I really do believe that other than that crazy Lydia Thorpe, who's a shady as hell, the tour was actually very, very successful. Hello, beautiful people. Thanks for joining me. I want to thank the members who joined me in the live today and earlier. Thanks for always coming to watch and support. Yes, thank you very much for everything. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because it helps the channel. It's a free way to help the channel by viewing, by watching. So thank you. Yeah, that bundle of joy over there. That is City. That is City that you see. And City is my boss. She is the producer of this entire shit show. So yes, so you're going to see the sheets move. It's because I'm disturbing her beauty sleep by talking. So we're going to get into something right now because this is very interesting. I saw that report and it's all over X and that Harry and Meghan have divorced, that he has filed for divorce, blah, 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 blah. Bookworm actually requested, she did a video, which I will leave linked at the bottom. She did a video saying that she actually did pay to check for the court filing of Harry having filed for divorce and nothing popped up. But then again, it wouldn't be the first time that this happens, doesn't it? Because the government is shady at protecting these people. Even if the divorce had been filed or maybe it was filed as a John Doe or something like that to protect their precious privacy. So we don't know. You know, this is the saddest part of it all, guys, that we don't know. We really don't know because things get hidden. It's just a mess. But Bookworm requested, and she spent her own money requesting this filing because unless a judge put it under seal, which would be very interesting that they do that, then we wouldn't be able to know anything about it. She probably would get something that says under seal, documents under seal. You still will get a message saying that this document by judge's order, but it was court order to be sealed, which is really, really weird. So here we have Bookworm who has requested that and has been told that there's no such thing. But then, are we really surprised if indeed they are divorced or they are filing for divorce or they're at the very least separated? Because let's not forget, even before Harry and Meghan, before Harry took off to New York, we saw that horrible interview with CBS where the body language was just atrocious. Harry's been asked, Meghan is talking about her ending her life or self-exiting and that she hasn't scraped the surface, trashing the family. That was a veiled threat in my very humble opinion. And he's sitting there, not even caressing his wife's hand or even patting it. Yeah, I know, or even leaning forward close to her. Nothing. The body language is to say the least, bad. I'm going to be very kind. I'm going to say it's bad body language. So it is. So we have that their body language is atrocious. It's just something that there is no connection, because at the beginning they were like salt and pepper. Remember how they were salt and pepper? Meghan Markle said that they couldn't do things. There was even this incident that Meghan Markle threw a fit when they were back in the UK, because they were invited to dinner parties, right? And usually in the UK, it's my experience. I don't know if it's yours, but it is my experience in the UK that they sit people apart so you mingle and you get to meet other people. So usually when Catherine and William or anybody else goes to these things, they always seat them separately. This is why, for example, you'll see Prince William's sitting separately. Then it's a whole thing. So Meghan Markle would throw a fit. And I think it was at Pippa's wedding. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was at Pippa's wedding. It was at Pippa's wedding that Meghan Markle had been finally managed to get herself invited to the after party, not to the actual ceremony. And they were sat separately, and because that's the normal thing to do. And then they suddenly had to scramble to sit them back together, move the seating arrangements, because Meghan Markle threw a fit because she needed to be by her man. We've seen them in New York when Harry wanted to remove his hand from Meghan Markle. She's like, what? She clawed him back in. It's the famous claw, which is what we all talk about. So their body language, at the very least, which is very unconscious, has told us that these two can't stand each other. These two people are done with each other. Even Harry, and I disagree when people say that Harry's enthralled by Meghan, like Tina Brown said, that Meghan is leading him like a little child, really. Poor little Howie. Howie's such a boyito, Howie. How can this man, if he's that stupid, how could he have been allowed to be in the military, in Apache helicopters? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But hey, to each their own. So the signs are there. The body language is there. The lack of, usually when royal couples are out there, and I'm not saying that Harry and Meghan are royal couples. I didn't say that. But usually it's a power thing when the two of them show up. Like, for example, when Catherine shows up on her own, clearly she draws more than Prince William because she's a female. She's beautiful. I'm not saying that Prince William is not gorgeous. He totally is. But you know what I mean. We're all wondering what she's going to wear, how she's going to have her hair. And watch her. I'm so glad that she's doing better. So, but when the two of them come together, clearly there's double power, star power. So this thing about Harry and Meghan doing things separately because it's better for each other, because together they're toxic, that is not a good sign. That is not a good sign, because usually one enhances the image of the other. You see with all the couples, with everybody. So when you have to justify the reason why they're doing things separately is because, they found out that whenever Meghan comes with Harry, she's very toxic to his image. That is not a good thing at all. And then I did the Med interview mid-February. I didn't have it. I'm going to also leave it linked here. I didn't post it because I didn't know how to alter her voice, because clearly she signed an NDA. And we know how litigious Meghan Markle is. And clearly the maid was right when she said that Meghan used to tell them that she had the governor of California on speed dial, because we saw him defending Archewell, of all things, gaslighting the entire nation into saying that Archewell was not delinquent, while Archewell was delinquent. But why would the governor of California? So the maid was right. She had the governor on speed dial. So when she used to threaten that she would get them, all it would take was a phone call to get them deported because they couldn't pronounce all her titles. Quite frankly, I have a hard time. Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Princess Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is quite a mouthful, because yes, she demanded to be called a princess. So the signs are there. Now it's bad for their image to be seen together. We see the rumors of Meghan Markle can't find herself, that she's having a hard time with Harry. Harry took off to Africa. And this is when I tell you that when we hear from them and we see news leaked, is because they want us to know. Because when they don't want us to know where they are or what they're up to, there's nothing in the press. There is nothing in the press. And if you want any signs of collusion, how the press is complicit, because I'm sure they know where Harry and Meghan Markle are, but they're just refusing to report on it. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? Because when Harry and Meghan want to go incognito, if they don't want anybody to know where they are, there's nothing of their whereabouts. Nothing. So, Harry took off to New York. Africa, thriving in Africa. Africa, New York, London. And the press coming, oh, the wonderful prince. And then we have Tina Brown. And I do want your input in the comments here. Tina Brown said that Harry would always be a prince. That Harry he could always, of course, come back because he would always be a prince unless King Charles signs a letters patent stating that he's not a prince and that he will be known as Harry Mountbatten Windsor. So the monarch could remove that title. But let's go with Tina Brown, what she said, that Harry would always be a prince. He could always come back because he would always be the prince. He would always be the Queen's grandson, and he would always be Princess Diana's son. Isn't it interesting? She didn't say he is the king's son. And I know I don't like to believe in conspiracy theories and stuff like that about Harry not being Charles's son. But isn't it interesting, the choice of words? Because reporters are very clear with the choice of words. So now we have, he's gone, he's AWOL. That there's a home in Portugal that somebody's leaking. We haven't seen Harry. And then they post this really ridiculous, embarrassing surfing video. I mean, why? Why would they post that stupid surfing video? I really don't get it. Now, the reason why I talked about the maid is because the maid in that interview said that Harry and Meghan do not live at the Montecito mansion. You hardly ever see Meghan Markle walking in Montecito unless it's a pap arranged shot. But you do see her around the streets of Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and Westwood. A lot. And it's about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, a good 2.5 to 3 hours drive to Montecito. So we're looking at 6-hour drive just to go to Hollywood for a pop shot because she doesn't take helicopters. As far as we know, she's not known for taking helicopters. So it doesn't make sense. She's always around, especially the late hours of the night. Where are her children? Why isn't this woman mothering her kids rather than doing pop walks and all kinds of crap? You know, especially when she doesn't need to because they're really well off. You know, she's not a single mother trying to earn a living like the maid she trashed who has 3 kids. She has to support and therefore she has to work her ass off to support her children. Meghan Markle doesn't know that. She doesn't know that feeling because this woman has always been supported by everybody else. This woman doesn't know the hardships. I mean, she's done a lot of mattress couch casting of her own choice because according to her, she has a degree from Northwestern University in communication. She could have gone into journalism or anything else, but no, she wants the fame. So the maid said that they no longer live together and that she lives in a condo in Beverly Hills. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Tatler magazine, I interviewed the maid in February, and thanks to Ron, who took his sweet time to edit the thing, we didn't post it until way after, because he had to translate it and then change the voice and all kind. And also he was very busy. But in March, at the end of March 27th, Tatler comes up and says that they interviewed Meghan Markle. They met with Meghan Markle at her $2 million mansion in California. That is not Montecito. And that article is still up there. As you are watching right now, that article, I did a screenshot of it. As I'm speaking to you, that article is still there, and I will leave you the link. So the signs have always been there. And now Harry's AWOL. Meghan Markle is doing all these crazy red carpet appearances in Hollywood because nobody's inviting her. Reese Witherspoon, she had this power thing because Meghan Markle managed. She didn't fly with that lady, that cosmetics lady in the Hamptons. She flew. She paid for her own way over there and she paid the fee to join them. But she wasn't invited. She just paid the fee like everybody else. But then she managed to get her name along with Gwyneth Paltrow's name aligned for that Hamptons thing. And now we have Reese Witherspoon, who, after that thing of the hospital gala, whatever the hell it was, she had this power weekend where Meghan was definitely not invited. And I think there was Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't know if Cameron Diaz, like proper A-listers were there. And of course, Meghan tried desperately to get herself invited and nobody did. So where is Harry? I've been told that his visa has been denied. His re-entry visa has been denied. I don't know how true it is, but I've been told that his re-entry visa has been denied because he had to be made to fill up the ESTA because he's not a U.S. citizen. So he has to fill out the ESTA form online. This is not like a manual. Now everything you do online. And he's been asked to do it again. And this time, apparently he did click, I do drugs. And when you click, yes, have you ever done drugs or stuff like that or anything like that? Have you ever been convicted of anything? Because let's not forget that Heritage Foundation and the judgment that was allowed to be seen, all redacted, they said that Harry would particularly not want this part to be known because it would be detrimental to him. Is that a crime he committed or that he was convicted of or accused of and the royal family, as usual, cleaned up for him? So I've been told that he's not been allowed in the country because they're studying the reasons, his new visa application due to the scandal that the Heritage Foundation has raised, especially now that they have appealed to vacate, now that they have asked to vacate the judgment. Other people suggest that he is in, but Meghan Markle does not allow him to speak, which I don't think so, because I would think that Meghan Markle would need more than ever would need to have a pap of Harry and Meghan being walking or having a restaurant food or being spotted at a restaurant on current time, not pictures that they sent from Backgrid. So it tells me that Meghan Markle doesn't even have that. It tells me that Meghan Markle is not in communication with Harry. It tells me, somebody told me that the palace is working with Harry and Harry's waiting for his father to return from his trip, from his very successful tour. Now, we also have the governor of Australia. She held an interview with this Walker guy. When I say to you, watch this video as well, I'll leave the link. This interview was approved by the palace. The questions were sent in advance. So for this Walker guy to ask the governor of Australia about the successful visit of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to Australia, when we know that was actually a disaster behind the scenes. Everybody knows this was a disaster. And instead of the governor general saying, everybody's welcome in Australia, we welcome everybody in Australia, instead of leaving it at that, she went in for almost 2 minutes saying, oh, Prince Harry has an important role. How important his role of Invictus Game was to Australia. She didn't mention Meghan, but she did mention Harry. And again, this interview was approved by Palace. The questions were pre-approved by the Palace. So my question to you, beautiful people, is, I believe, what was it that Harry said, oh, there's space between us. When he was asked about, his relationship with William, Prince William and his father. Oh, there's space. I believe that there's space between Harry and Meghan Markle. I believe that Meghan Markle hasn't been able to reach Harry. I believe that he hasn't been allowed back in the United States. It could be the visa, but I also think that if Donald Trump wins, which is within 2-3 weeks time now, he does not want to suffer the embarrassment of being kicked out of the country. So they're trying to work on a narrative in order to bring Meghan Markle back to the UK as well. Because remember, Meghan Markle said that she would leave the United States if Donald Trump won? Remember that? Do you guys remember that? So could that be that they're working on a narrative? Could it be that Harry's back at Frogmore Cottage? We know that when they want to, they're able to go under the radar, guys. And the only times we know where they're at is because they want it to be known. My opinion is that there is something, but I have a sneaky suspicion that they're not divorced. I have a sneaky suspicion that the palace is working on bringing Harry back alongside with Meghan and their two invisible children. But I do believe that right now there's a separation of sorts. But what do you guys think? Please let me know in the video. And again, thanks again for watching.